Hey guys, me. Um, so I think last video we kind of just left off where I just moved to Hamilton Avenue. Um, I was about 5, not quite 5 when that happened. Like I mentioned, I had my 5th birthday there, and I'll go back and talk more about my mom and dad later. Um, Maybe just do like one on each of them, my recollections and such, um, and what I know about their history, um, which is not a lot, but some. Um, So, uh, so the little house on Hamilton Avenue was a tiny little Cape Cod at 2309. Um, I've got some pictures of it, later. The tree now that's in the front yard is just, it's a silver maple. It's just monstrous, monstrous silver maple. When I lived there, it was so small we weren't allowed to climb in it because my mom was afraid we were going to break it. Um, Now it's just massive, massive tree. Um, There are also hedges across the front, which is real popular then. Um, Kind of border the walkway a little bit, border the front walk, and then down the main walk a little bit. And real typical working class 1960s neighborhood, late 60s. And everybody knew everybody. Lots of kids, mainly girls, it seemed like, at least right near us, until I got a little bit older. But my mom was real strict about where Michael could go, um, and how far he could roam, down to this end of the block, the end of the block, across the street, all that kind of stuff. But within my initial little bubble there, mainly little girls, and I remember that was, they always played together. Lots of little girl play. Um, and they always play with their Barbies. Everything was like a army of Barbies, and of course I had my GI Joes, so I would bring my GI Joes, and their rifles and their pistols and I think at one point in time I had a Jeep, um, yeah, GI Joe Frogman meets Barbie, um, and Ken. Uh, Ken was uh, a little on the edge. I don't know about Ken. Way too nice of clothes. Hair was way too nice. Um, but the but yeah, that was my recollection. We used to play Army Man. In that little in that hedgerow. I remember talking to my brothers about this. Is that because they did the same thing, and we had these little green Army men, and used to play with them all the time with our trucks and stuff, and make camps for them and such. And I was wondering how many, when they pulled those hedges out, because they're gone now, how many little green army men they found, tangled in with the roots of those things. Probably tons, hundreds. Um, so yeah, it was a small house. The living room was tiny. I remember that. The kitchen was tiny, a small eat-in kitchen, just barely enough room for us to sit down and have supper. There's a little front room and kind of a dining room area, which just kind of turned out to be more of a playroom. And that was kind of like the south end of the house. And north end of the house, there's a bathroom in the middle, the only bathroom in the house, with a tub, no shower. There was a shower in the basement. My bedroom was in the one corner towards the backyard, and the front room, the living room, was on the front corner, and it was pretty small. I remember when I was older, of course I was nearly 6 foot tall by then. When I would lay in the living room, my feet would be at the television, and my head would be at the feet of the person who was sitting in the chair at the other end of the room. It was like a rocking chair that Grandpa had in his house when you guys were little. So yeah, it was pretty small. I mean, I could reach both ways and touch the furniture on either side. Pretty tiny spot. Upstairs was 2 bedrooms. My mom and dad's bedroom on one side, and my brother's bedroom on the other. I don't think that thing was 900. I don't think that place was 900 square feet. It was pretty, comparatively small to what we think of today. Um, Backyard, just a regular backyard. There were some clotheslines back there. Hedge of trees across the back. Single car garage, maybe a car and a half. And then behind the garage, my dad built a pen for our dog, Jill. Um, yeah, Jilly was the first dog I remember never had growing up until I joined the Air Force. She lived a long time. She lived like 14 years. Um, but yeah, she had a house back there. He had made a really nice double entry sort of a house, and he would fill it up with straw, and it was insulated, and that's where she stayed, pretty much always, regardless of temperature. She'd come out of there in the wintertime, and just steam would just be rolling off her. It was pretty warm. He made it good. He was well constructed and well insulated. Um, but but yeah, so that was we didn't have any dogs in the house. That didn't happen. Uh, so yeah, so that was it. The neighborhood was as my world expanded a little bit as I got older. There was a park down the way. We called it the Triangle Park because it was shaped like a triangle. But it was big enough to play baseball on, at least for a bunch of kids. A little sandlot baseball, a little bit of football. Now right about the time I was getting ready that we moved, they planted trees on it, which made all the kids in the neighborhood pretty mad because they didn't want any trees. They wanted to play baseball on it. The city didn't care. The city wanted trees. So they planted trees. Um, but that park was kind of like our playground world. I mean, everything happened there, all sorts of games and such, but mainly football and baseball. Um, just every kid in the neighborhood, various ages. It was pretty all inclusive. It was kind of cool. It was kind of fun, in retrospect. Um, we also played a lot in the neighborhoods by the houses. We lots of typical kid games. Kick the can, midnight. We did a lot of games on the sidewalk. Um, Games like red light, green light. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. I don't know if you ever played those or not. But and then we did like little games like Statue Maker, which you spun each other around and you're supposed to like land in some pose, and then everybody guesses what you are. And yeah, so that was pretty much the thing. And then, like I say, as my world got a little bit bigger, we played more with the other kids. There was more boys up on the other blocks and stuff like that. So we played a lot of army. Everybody had their guns and their plastic guns, and did a lot of that. And yeah, and got older, and yeah, used to walk straight up Webster, which was at the end of the block. Straight up Webster. God, I don't know how many blocks. Probably it wasn't a mile, but it was close. Maybe 8/10 of a mile up to Mitchell School, and I did that every day for kindergarten through ninth grade. And my mom took us sometimes, particularly if we got late rolling out of the house. But generally speaking, and I used to walk home at lunch sometimes too. But mainly I didn't. Mainly I stayed and ate lunch. My mom would pack lunch. Sometimes we'd have hot lunch, but mainly she packed lunch. We weren't eligible for hot lunches. They made too much money, so so we had to buy them. Yeah, my mom always made nice lunches, nice sandwich, some fruit, vegetable, little fruit cups, little, sometimes little pudding cups. And yeah, so that was pretty much how it was every day. And like I say, if it was really, really cold, she'd take us. There was none of that, walk uphill both ways sort of thing. It was pretty much flat walk. And like I say, if the weather was really awful, she would take us. But yeah, I went there from kindergarten on. I was the cutoff. My date, my birthday was the cutoff for kindergarten, and I think in retrospect, I think it would have been better for me if my mom had waited a year. I was a pretty immature 5-year-old. Looking back, that 1 year can make a big difference. She had the option; it could have went either way. Um, and I think it maybe would have been better for me if she had waited, rather than to push me through. But I mean, I don't blame her. Here she is, a young woman, working husband, also working part time. Um, she would work in the evenings. My dad worked during the day, and she would work at night. She works second shift as I recall, at a book printing place, Western Printing. It's closed now, but it was a big kids publishing house back in the day, and then she worked there, and then she worked at a food store called Kohl's Food Store, which was the same company that owned Kohl's department store. So it was owned by Herbie Kohl and Senator Herbie Kohl and his brother. I can't remember what his brother's name was, but they ended up selling the department stores off years ago. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I don't blame her for doing that, but I mean, I understand why she did it. I'm sure it was really tough, and like, hey, I got one less kid for half a day. We had half a day kindergarten. I think I was in the morning. She had one half day without one kiddo, and that would give her some quality time with her other two kids, and maybe ability to get something done and not be chasing 3 kids, only chasing 2 kids. So I understand why she did it, but I don't know that it was, for me, maybe not the best thing. I think, hindsight being 20/20, knowing what I know now about myself and looking back, I think, maybe it would have been a little more maturity would not have hurt me in my studying and my school life and all that. And I'll get into that in another video. I just think it would have been better. But she did what she did, and she had her good reasons. So anyway, I've got to get back to work. So I'll stop this now, and I'll try to, I don't know what I'll start off next time, maybe school life, maybe my parents, maybe my brothers, I don't know. Anyway, figure it out. I love you, and I hope to talk to you soon.